Hi, I'm Dave. This is the Cyderbaby show, and today I'm speaking to Avelina De Moray. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
That's okay. I'm okay. You're looking really well. I mean, we are talking across the globe now, aren't we? I mean, you're in Australia.
I am. Yes, oceans apart. And it is morning there for you, and it's 4:30 in the evening. The sun is going down. It's my favorite time of the day, dusk.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of blows my mind really when you think about it.
Okay. I've been playing your latest single. I mean, it's your first single, I believe, is it? Like a Drug?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good going because I love that track. I mean,
Thanks.
I sometimes you get a feeling when you hear a track or a song for the first time, you think, wow, that just stops you dead in your tracks, and you think, this is going to be good. So, where have you sprung from?
I like that. Spring in Alice Springs is where I've sprung from. If only that was the truth. That's a fucking lie. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Look, I've just been keeping busy. I've worked in a few other bands and like musical projects over the years, but I've
Mm,
really spent the last maybe decade applying a lot of my time on my business. I design jewelry and rings and handbags, and it's obviously like my aesthetic. It's becoming a really big brand in the Gothic subculture. So I guess that's had my focus for the last decade, and I just kind of felt like it was time to get back into music, and Like a Drug was one of the first songs that I wrote, so it just seemed fitting that that was the first that I released.
okay, okay. So I mean, let's explore this a bit further. I mean, you're a fashion designer. So, what came
Yeah.
first, music or the designing or the fashion, or was it the music that inspired the fashion, or you
Yeah,
know?
definitely. It was definitely music. Um, I was a guitarist before anything else, so I picked up
Right.
piano at 11, and I was
Mm,
classically trained, and I abandoned that. Like I did it for a good 3 years, but
yeah.
then as soon as I discovered Daniel Johns and I played my first, E chord, as everyone does, so playing "Smoke on the Water," it's like the only song they teach you when you first learn guitar. Yeah, it was like literally love at first sight. I mean, the first solo that I think I learned on guitar was "Tomorrow" by Silverchair. So I can't stress how much that band like influenced still what I'm writing today. I think you'll maybe hear a little bit of it in the
Mm.
songs that you've previewed. Like there's some Silver Cherry frog stomp moments, and I think that was a great Australian rock album. So they've definitely inspired me. And yeah, definitely the music came before the fashion, but it's hard to separate them now because
Right.
I think in the Gothic subculture, like a lot of goths would say it's all about the music and the fashion came second. But I think the two are definitely entwined. Like it's hard to say which came first or whatever. It's like the egg and the chicken kind of fucking scenario. But for me, it was definitely the music. And then I think it took a few years for the kind of goth aesthetic to wash over me.
Right.
Um, but it definitely wasn't like a passing phase like that I went through at puberty or anything like that. I've had this look for a good while. So
Right.
it's not a phase.
Okay. Um, so, Like a Drug, first single. Tell me about the song.
Look, I was married for a while, and then I went through like a big bust up,
Mhm.
and I think it was just me like delving back into dating and becoming infatuated with men and women, and just exploring and owning being that little bit older, my own sexuality, and just enjoying, like, yeah, honestly being in fucking intoxicated with someone, like they were my drug.
Yeah.
um and yeah, it's just about really giving someone your like finite focus. And I'm too fucking busy to do that these days, so I don't know what the next song's going to be about because business is booming. But at the time, I had a bit more free time to offload some of my consciousness to another. Unfortunately, it wasn't like well received, so it didn't last. I was too intense for them.
Oh, I'm sure things will work out. Um, okay. But
Maybe.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole. It's just like, yeah.
I know it's a big one.
Uh,
Mm.
okay, so Like a Drug has come out. I mean, it came out what, about a month ago, or 3 weeks, three,
Yeah.
4 weeks ago, something like that. I mean, I've been playing it. I just think this is great. I mean, it's got quite an empowered feel to it.
Thanks.
I suppose that goes hand in hand with what you're saying to a certain degree. Um, so how are you going to follow this up? What's next?
Well, it's funny because it wasn't supposed to be, even though I just said it was like the first song I wrote. It wasn't
Mm,
technically supposed to be the first single. So "Cruel," which you've heard, which it was
mm,
supposed to be the first single, but there was a little mishap with the filming of the video clip for that, and we ended up having to redo it, and just the timelines got all fucked up, so we ended up just rolling with "Drug" being first.
mm.
Um, but yeah, there's definitely like a creative kind of like arsenal or sound developing. I think the logic behind what I'm doing, like every other artist in the world, is to combine the songs and like put it into an LP or an album. I'm thinking it will probably be an LP.
Right. Okay.
But I've got Crawl coming up next. That's a lot harder.
Mm,
It's a lot more in the metal realm, where hard
definitely.
like a drug is kind of sitting more in hard rock.
Mm,
Um, so if I got people's attention with Like a Drug, I'm definitely like they'll be standing at attention when they hear Cruel. It's a lot darker. Like a Drug is kind of like playful and yeah, I just say it's playful. Where Cruel is not. It's like
no.
it's in your face. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much inspired by In This Moment at the moment, and Royal Blood. So I'm hoping that it might be a fusion of those two bands. Yeah,
Mm. I can certainly hear that actually. I mean,
yeah, cool.
it certainly doesn't take any prisoners, does it, Cruel? It just sort of like grabs you by the throat, and gives you a bit of a shake, and then
Yeah,
throw,
that
throws you down again, and then just
squeeze on the
leaves you.
jugular
Yeah.
a little.
but you sent me another song as well.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary, cover of
What do you
Lady
think?
Gaga's. So why? I mean, you're obviously a very talented writer in your own right. Why cover somebody
Mm.
else's song like that?
Well, there's several reasons. I mean, it worked for Elvis, so maybe it'll work for me.
Well,
Or
yeah,
just historically, it worked for the
yeah.
Beatles. Um, um, but look, I just couldn't avoid the song, honestly. Like with my kids going on YouTube, it seemed like every single short on TikTok or Instagram had that bloody song in it, and it was just in my head constantly. And then I started singing it. So I was just surrounded by it a lot, and obviously with the heat from Wednesday as well.
Mm,
I thought it might be a smart like idea to do it as well. And then the link with my aesthetic and Wednesday, and thinking that there'll be a crossover of some of the show's fans and like my own following. I thought it would just be a really well received track, and I've done a few covers that like are yet to come out, but I really like to do something quite dramatically different. I don't want
mm,
to stay in the vein of the original song. Where and I think I did that with Bloody Mary. Like the tempo, for instance, it's so
mm.
much faster. It's unexpected, and yeah, I think it'll be really well received, and
Yes.
that will hopefully be the third single. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I get told like quite frequently that at times like I have a little bit of a Lady Gaga tone to my singing voice as well. So maybe that kind of came into play to wanting to
Yeah.
cover one of her. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I could see that a little bit. Yeah, or hear that
Mm.
rather, I should say. Um. Okay. So what's next? We touched on an album, then possibly, or an LP, or whatever. So are you thinking like 3 singles, 4 singles, maybe, and then see what happens with an album, or are you just going to keep the name out there, keep going with the singles every few weeks, and see where that takes you?
Yeah, my plan kind of got thrown out of the window with the success of Like a Drug. Like I wasn't expecting like I think it's on like 75,000 streams on Spotify. You know,
Oh
I'm just
wow.
a little yeah, I'm a little independent artist over here in Australia. And I would have been happy with like 1,000, honestly. I was just trying to push it out to my already established following with my business.
Mm,
Um so I was like really taken aback in a beautiful way that it was so well received. But my plan up until that point was to do a video clip for like the first four singles. But
right.
that obviously there's I'm doing it a lot myself. I'm filming. I've got a group of friends, but I'm doing the editing um, with like a very small team. So I'm very hands on with that, and
Mm,
I've got my business as well. So it was taking too long. I'm like, fuck, I just need to get the music out. So I think the plan is to like very quickly, like in the next few weeks, release those two songs on Spotify so I can just get them out there and my following can start to use them like in reels and start to promote them like on social media.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, the video clip will follow up the release. Um, but I've just kind of had to switch the order that I was doing it. It's just become incredibly important now to get it out as quickly as possible because it's been well received. So that's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you refer to your following. I mean, it's like a fan base, I suppose. But is this from the fashion side of things, just like coming over or crossing over,
Yeah, I
or
would say so. Like, it's definitely like on Instagram and like YouTube channel and stuff like that. Um, I've always dabbled in music. Like on my YouTube channel, there's covers and stuff like that.
Hmm,
But they're not like an official, it's not an official single like I'm doing with Lady Gaga.
hmm.
And yeah, I would say the last like 5 years, it's primarily been like content on the Gothic subculture, and my house is pretty extraordinarily decorated, so I get quite a bit of attention on that. So I
Okay,
enjoy sharing that with people. And more recently, it's been like videos showcasing the people that I'm collaborating with.
right.
I do like jewelry with other YouTubers and influencers, and I'm trying to move that into music as well. So I can't announce yet who I've lined up, but I've got like my very first very very fucking exciting musical like jewelry collaboration.
Okay.
Um, so
God,
yeah,
you can
it's
tell me nobody's
I
listening.
can't. I promise you won't tell anyone. No, I literally like I can't. I'm not allowed to yet. It's like until it's up on my website and we do the soft launch. I've been sworn to secrecy, but it's a big name and it's exciting to start to get I guess to fuse those two worlds. So it's not like there's my design world and there's music. It's fun to bring them together. And
Okay, okay. Well, you mentioned a website there. I assume you can get your jewelry and fashion on your website, so you better do a shameless plug.
I could do a shameless plug, absolutely. So head on over to avelinademoray.com if you like gothic little trinkets, coffin rings, the ultimate coffin handbag. Not everything is coffin shaped, but there is a lot of coffin stuff.
Mm,
Yeah, go and check it out. It's dark, it's delicious, it's designed by me. So it's like the inner workings of my mind. Available for
excellent.
purchase.
It could be very dark. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. Yeah, right. Serious.
Back
So
on track.
let's go back. We touched on your inspirations a few musically. I mean, what about on your fashion side? Who inspired you on with your fashion from very early?
Ah, honestly, it's always rock stars. It's like
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, Nita Steele from Typo Negative, Joan Jett with the leather jackets.
Mm,
It's not like Versace or big brands. Obviously, they have like inspired because they're absolute icons. It's like Lestat from Queen of the Damned, the vampire movie.
mm.
My aesthetic is very much tied in like rock star meets vampire. If those two had a baby, it would be me. So that's what I'm going for. Yeah, just a lot of rock stars, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm. A lot of spikes, a little bit of danger. I like when people are just a little bit scared when they open like a package from me. They don't know whether to like run or stay. I like that, keeping people on their toes. There's a lot of spikes. There's a lot of like pentagrams and like, is this witchcraft? And they're like, I don't know. It's just cool. Um, so yeah, again,
Yeah.
it's definitely an extension of my personality. I'm fun and quirky, which I think when people see my aesthetic and haven't really watched any of my videos before, they might be
Mm.
surprised by that. They'll expect like this really serious, dark individual, and I present that way. But I'm sure as you can tell, I've got a fucking sense of humor, and I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody seems to think that the goth image is very dark and brooding and
Yeah.
quiet. Even you're quite the polar opposite, I've got to
Yeah.
say. So
That's a compliment. I'm
uh,
breaking the mold.
yeah, exactly. So everybody can exploit that in a goth, really. Doesn't matter who you
Mm.
are. So
Yeah.
okay, right. We've covered inspirations in fashion. We've covered music. I mean, what about day to day life? I mean, what are you doing with yourself apart from working, which it seems endlessly working with? your culture and whatever. But I mean, what makes you
Yeah.
tick? What sort of like
Mm.
what's your downtime? What do you do? Just sit there with fluffy slippers on and watch a bit of trash TV and
Downtime, what the fuck is that? Okay, I've been building what seems to be a developing empire for the last little minute, but it's really getting a lot of attention over the last maybe 4 months.
Hmm.
Um, Everything's selling out. I'm getting more and more retailers across the world. For context, it was just me and my little store, and I had no retailers, so
Hmm.
it was literally just me selling all over the world. But now other shops around the world are joining me, and I'm also setting up like a warehouse in New York,
Okay.
like a distribution center. So it's getting fucking serious. So
Hmm.
I haven't had too much downtime since January this year, but I'm enjoying it. It is really lighting me up. And I mentioned that before. That's why there's like been no time for like dating or anything like that because I'm
Hmm.
too fucking busy. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see like where I am in 6 months, and I'm sure something will present itself once the little empire is more established and developed. But yeah, day to day is just orders at the moment. I've expanded to having a team already, which is great. Like
Okay.
I manifested the fuck out of that. My New Year's resolution was to
Hmm.
have a team, and that was just at January, and I didn't have a team at all. And I just look back at it, I'm like, okay, so I've got like the person that I record my music with and do videos with, and
Hmm.
then I've got an assistant now, and now I'm setting up a warehouse in New York. That's two more people, and I've got a video editing like team and a little group and a photographer. I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's like a total team. But it happened so like organically
Yeah.
that I didn't even notice. I was like, wow, it's happening. So busy days, interviews, lining up more collaborations. I've got a big performance coming up locally for
Hmm.
Halloween. It's not too close, but there's a club here that really supports what I do, and we do like a big show for Halloween. So I'll be performing there, which will be fun. The next few months it'll just be releasing more music, getting the videos out, and trying to make enough stock to deal with the attention that my brand's currently receiving, which is a phenomenal. It's not a problem. It's just it's new for me. It's like, how the fuck do I do all this when it's just me?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's challenging.
social media's has basically taken over your life, really.
You could say that. Yeah, which is why, okay, downtime, I like consciously every day take half an hour to meditate before bed. I really
Hmm.
look forward to it because that's when my phone gets turned the fuck off and I calm down and I just get to slow down. But when I'm awake, it's like the to-do list is big.
Hmm.
But like I said, it lights me up. I feel very empowered doing it, and I feel like I'm working towards something that's not only for me, it can give back to others in the form of music or a cool piece of fashion or jewelry or whatever. And I'm also developing something that I can share with my kids as well. So it's
Yeah.
fun. I look forward to seeing where it is in a year with all the progress that's been made, like over the last 4 months. It'll be good.
World domination, I think, is in the palm of your hand, pretty much.
I'm like, I wanted to say it, but how do you say it with being like humble?
Well,
Just casually
easily,
going after
I
world
say it all the
domination.
time.
Oh, awesome.
It's easy. World domination. You gotta have these master plans. It's great, and maybe a fluffy cat just on your lap as well.
A black one, yeah. I'm allergic, sadly, but if I wasn't, I would have a cliche black cat because they're beautiful. I was thinking about getting the Egyptian ones that don't have the fur.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
what
I
about
do have a bearded dragon. So.
you have a bearded what, sir?
A bearded dragon. She's a lizard to
Right.
clarify.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
she's like 40 centimeters long now. She looks like a dragon. Hence the name, bearded
Amazing.
dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
very cool.
What about gigs? I haven't actually asked that question. You mentioned earlier about Halloween. What about any other gigs? Are you looking to expand that as a global empire takeover thing?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just me at the moment. I don't have a band.
Mm,
There's a band here that I use locally for shows and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope it gets to the point where I can get more people involved, like a manager, record company, that kind of thing, and step out
mm,
of the doing it totally independent. scenario that I'm in right now. I'm definitely paying attention to like who's coming in and trying to get like supports for some bands and stuff that are touring internationally.
Mm,
Um, for now, I think the best thing for me is to record, and I already have like some live, professional live, like studio versions
yeah, I
of
know.
the song. So I just filmed one last week for Like a Drug. That's just being edited. So that's seeing most of my following is in America. That's going to be the best way for me to offer a live performance
Mm,
to America until I can come there and line up some tours and stuff. But I think that would be possible because I'm doing a lot of collaborations with other American musicians, like I mentioned, that I can't mention yet. And they're on tour and they're already like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, fuck it. I don't have a band, but like, I'm sure I can work it out. And I'm working with some other just big companies that hold events and things like that. And they've asked me to perform. So I think I'll be there in 2024 and then hopefully on to Europe. Yeah.
okay. Well, I think we better leave it there because I've got a radio show to start in about 5 minutes. So,
You do. Get a
thank
coffee into you.
yeah, I need something. Probably something stronger. Thank you, Evelina, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the very best with your music. Yeah, like I say, something comes along every so often that ticks all the boxes for me, and it's great. So, thank you very much. And
Yes, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I wish you all the best with your fashion as well. I mean, like I said, world domination, I think, is within your grasp
It
very
is
soon.
within reach. It's not too far away.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Cheers.